From the liberal Northeast comes a lone voice of truth. Honest commentary in dishonest times. Think deeper with Juan Newsom. This is the Cure radio program. This is the Cure.
Hey folks, this is Juan with The Cure. Tonight I have Cat from Kathy Talks. Week 4 of the Corona lockdown. It feels like an episode or one of the Purge movies, right, Cat?
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. Purge. That's a perfect scenario.
Exactly.
Or Outbreak. Outbreak would be appropriate here too.
Yeah,
but I think people will kill each other, so Purge is probably the most accurate week 4.
It feels more. I mean, people are actually dying too, so it's like, oh, well, you know. Oh my God! What do you think of the response from the White House?
Well, as much as people like to complain about our current administration, we have to look at it from a different perspective, right? Trump is not the governor of states. He's not in control of the cities like the mayor is or whatever. You know, his interests are national. They're broad. They're out. So when it comes down to getting into the specific counties and districts and all that, is not his forte. But what is his forte is getting together all of the heads of all of these private companies and having them stop their business basically and start mobilizing their workforce, their materials, their factories, all to create the things that we need that nobody knew that we needed, but they're taking action. He has the technology and the scientists, the top science in the world, the top techs in the world. And in case you didn't know, he mobilized our military force in such a way that there is now a floating hospital in Manhattan where regular patients can go and be treated for stuff that still is happening in life right now, right? Like heart attacks didn't stop, strokes didn't stop, people who have cancer and need treatment, that didn't stop. So now he's mobilized our military. So for those people who hate him so much and don't really fully understand the impact of the American military force, when you think of all these other countries, third world countries who get devastated like hurricanes or for example, Puerto Rico, and they mobilize a Navy ship and Air Force personnel, they're there in days. And they're there with an operation and an infrastructure that is unmatched by any other facility in the United States on land or in any other country. So you don't now, I hope you don't have to doubt what the force and impact of the United States military is when it comes to these situations and these emergencies, because you can see it happening right here, right now. It's not so disconnected. We could live in New York, right? Like I did, and you're in Jersey, and we hear about, you know, twisters and, you know, in Texas or in Louisiana. Like we're not in those places. Oklahoma, like who the hell knows what happens in those places? We don't know. We're city folk, right? But now you see a Navy ship in the Hudson. I mean, that is huge. That is huge. And for people...
They're building a hospital in Central Park, too.
Dude, took over Jacob Javits Center, the biggest convention center in New York, probably in the tri-state area. I'm waiting for them to use the stadiums, because if there really is this kind of pandemic where we need space or whatever, they can convert any space, any property that they need to create the infrastructure needed to address the situation that we have on hand. We're doing this in the US where we actually have hospitals or whatever. Imagine how much we do for countries that don't have nothing, that have nothing. This is top class, class, top rated medical personnel and facilities and infrastructure. And if you don't understand how powerful that is, like, I don't know what else you need. I don't know what else you need. You already see made in China ain't good for us. It's not good for us. So,
you know what's funny though, and on that note, I think, you know, because I think people now Europeans, the Western European leadership, starting to put some of the blame on China where it should be. Now it's funny. Everything that Trump said kind of came to fruition. You know, he came in, he talked about bringing jobs back overseas. There's no reason why 80% of our pharmaceuticals should be manufactured in China. There is no reason for that. And I don't know if you got to pass some type of special bill, give them a tax break or whatever, but that manufacturing of those materials should be done here in the U.S. This is a huge national security risk, having those goods being manufactured overseas. So I think at the end of this, you're going to have the Western European leadership and, of course, the Eastern European leadership aligning behind Trump, and China's going to pay some reparations, or they could possibly get pushed out of the WTO. I think you're going to see more of that move because these guys threaten to withhold medicine from the West.
Not only that. So if you can't hear, that's Juan Newsom from The Cure, and we're on recording for tonight. So I decided to do a little live video. But not only did China threaten to withhold the medications that we need, like the penicillins, the aspirins, and all the rest of it, but they also used up the stockpiles that places like Australia had. They also used the medical supplies that were the overages that were in other countries, because those countries weren't hit yet. They didn't realize what was coming towards them. So where they had a need, they were draining stockpiles of products from other countries. And then when those countries got hit, China couldn't supply them. And the supplies that they did send, like we saw a big thing going to Italy, we saw all this other stuff happening. The supplies that they sent weren't sufficient. There were containers that were either half empty, or the supplies were not the things that they needed. They weren't up to grade. So it was basically useless what they sent, which should have been, expected, because you know what you get when you buy from China. The reason why you get it so cheap is because it's made cheaply. And if there's also video showing people making masks, and they're like got the masks all over the floors and in like sweatshop style factories. These are not like medical grade factories. These are sweatshop factories just to pump out as much stuff. And people are touching everything with their hands. They're not wearing shoes. They're hardly wearing clothing. So it's crazy to think that we are now so dependent on the manufacturing standards of China to get basic medicines. It's insane.
Yeah, we got to move away. We got to move away from this. Just a quick note, Kat. I saw where Virginia just issued a shutdown until June.
Yeah.
Also, the governor issues a stay-at-home order for South Carolina. So the governor of South Carolina also issued a stay-at-home order. Let's see here.
Well, you see, the reason why they have to issue stay-at-home orders is because these mofos won't stay home. All you had to do, your only job for the past 15 days was to stay home. Like, that's all you had to do. People said, take the time off and stay your ass at home. And then you got these monkeys talking about, you're treading on my rights. This isn't a communist country. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. We all get it. But in case you didn't understand what's happening in the world is not a communist freaking takeover. It's a damn virus that spreads in the air when you talk and you are socializing with people. So they're not telling you stay home so I could take away your rights. They're telling you stay home so your ass don't clog up the medical system for people who actually freaking need it. Morons. So now instead of us staying 15 days at home, now y'all asses are staying 6 months at home because you don't freaking listen to simple directions. Sometimes in life, you could be a leader. Sometimes in life, you got to take a stand. And sometimes in life, you got to be a motherfucking soldier. And you got to sit your ass at home and just shut the fuck up. Watch Netflix. Watch the Lion King, the Tiger King. Watch some.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Now, instead of 15 days, I got you people polluting this area for another 6 months. Does that make sense? I was happy to be a stay-at-home, work from home, and be here by myself. But now I got power washing in the middle of the day. I got people in their carts, golf carts, spinning around. Stay home. Just stay home. We're not trying to take your rights away. We don't even like you that much to take your rights away. Go do you. Just stay home doing it. Ridiculous. Bunch of babies. Then they wonder why they get sick.
Infections are up.
You got to go outside in a hazmat suit. Maybe stay home. Yeah. Maybe don't go outside in a hazmat suit. How about that?
Well, infections are up in the NYPD.
Yeah.
And infections are up in the military.
Unfortunately, the first responders, the medical staffs, the people who provide us general services like sanitation, which is continuing to pick up trash. All those people need you to get out of their way, to get out of their face so that they don't get infected with whatever shit you're carrying. You're just making the situation harder, thinking that you're going to take a stand. There's a time to take a stand, and this ain't it. Okay? When you got the man who's on your side trying to fight for you to stay the fuck alive, stop trying to kill yourself. Like, can we just do that? Can we just do that? Can you just stop trying to commit suicide by infection and stay home for another 2 weeks? Like, can we just try that?
I think people are also getting antsy, Kat, because of the economy. No one knows what this means for the economy. Initially, you have now they've passed the package finally in the Congress, and the president signed the order the other day. So, we have this $2 trillion package that's going to be rolled out over the next couple of weeks, which includes checks that goes to individual family taxpayers. What's included in that is also loans and guaranteed benefits for small and mid-sized businesses and large businesses alike. Just want to get your take on, what do you think this means for the economy? Because I know a lot of people are worried. Again, 3.2 million people have filed for unemployment now because of this, because of this coronavirus panic. So I'm just wondering, can it bounce right back, or?
I think that the economic impact is reflective of the severity of the situation, right? So if the economy has been basically shut down, all the jobs that were created during the 4 years have now been let go forcibly let go because the severity of the situation that we're facing right now, then that is of utmost necessity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the
Mm-hmm.
fear behind the unknown financially for people
Mm-hmm.
is what is causing this panic and this run on shops and shortages of supplies and people acting freaking Looney Tunes over it. So people
Mm-hmm.
are so afraid of poverty and they're so afraid of the unknown. Like, there are people who will kill themselves because they lose money, which is
Mm-hmm.
insane. But it's because you don't know that, like, you won't implode. You could
You
actually,
can always get it back.
you can actually create wealth again. I mean, look at the
Yeah.
president. Didn't he like lose $1 billion, make $1 billion,
Oh, yeah.
lose $1 billion? Like, this thing happens. It's ebbs and flows in life. And some point you're gonna be at the bottom, at some point you could be at the top. It's not something to kill yourself over. Like, it really, really isn't.
Cat, I know a guy. I don't tell this story.
I know a guy.
I know a guy. I can't say his name, but I know a guy who made 20 million 3 times. He lost it. He lost it twice.
And built it back.
And built it back. It's crazy.
Yes.
I was like,
know what the difference is. I think life experience, and I encourage all kinds of different life experiences. But I grew up in New York City, in public housing, in poverty. That's it. It was poor. I didn't know that people didn't get online to get food at like churches and food pantries. I didn't know that everybody didn't do that. I thought that's how you got food. That's just how you got food in the house. I had no idea that that's how poor people got food. You know, that's what poor people did. I thought that's just, you go to the church on the corner and, you know, at a certain time with your little cart, and they give you bagels and English muffins and cheese and turkey, and that's how you got food. I had no idea that that was because you're poor and you don't have any money, so people are giving you free shit. I didn't know that. You know what? I didn't die. I didn't implode. I didn't feel some kind of like crazy shame in my life and, oh my God, people are judging me and I'm on the losing end of life. The fuck? That's what these services are there for.
Yeah,
you know? For the longest time, people use an actual stamp, a ticket, a food stamp. How is anybody supposed to know that's not what you bought food with? You know? And it wasn't like a detriment. It wasn't insulting to me at that time. And, you know, when you do learn and you do grow up and you do have other experiences, like, hey, that's money people give me. But how can I make my own money? Oh, here, this is the method. Oh, look, this is so much better. I can make money all the time. Like, I went from poor to no money, working 9 to 5 with my little, you know, $40,000 salary or whatever. And I thought when I made $80,000, like I was banking, I was good. I was, you know, no, that's not really money either. And
nah, 80,000 is nothing.
But then I went totally broke and started my own business. So not only did I not make money, I've spent money. So 20, 30,000 in the negative, to then build it back up to making more money than any of those other situations with no cap, because I don't have a boss. I have clients. I don't have a boss. Now I have clients. So if you want my service, you want my service, you want my service, then guess what? The price of my service goes up and up and up and up. And then you become a better seller, a bigger seller, resell. That's just shit happens. And sometimes, you know what? Your business, like all these restaurants, like all these small owners of these old shops, retail shops, they go out of business. 80%, I think, or 70% of small businesses tank regardless
like
of what the government and the economy is doing. So you got to have the bounce back. Like people go down, but they don't got the bounce back, or you don't trust. You don't trust you could bounce back. So you get crazy. The economy. First of all, most of the economy is an illusion, okay? Most of the money you think you have is credit. There's no money. The money we have right now, it's not backed by anything. It's basically monopoly money. There's no value to it. Just FYI, it's all.
Yeah.
It's all.
I was telling my wife just the other day, because, my wife works in wealth management. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing when you work in financial services, wealth management, stock market, hedge funds, all of that, because I worked on Wall Street, so I know it's all about financial fluidity, right? Yeah. You want to keep the market fluid and going. And I was having this thing with my wife. I said, look, what if, we have the Federal Reserve System, and, basically, you have a lot of countries now that are industrialized that kind of copied that model, having a central bank, having fiat currency, not having your currency backed by anything. Everyone's living off credit.
Yeah. And
if anything, this situation, the coronavirus, and it shows that as a country, we need to become better savers. Not just individuals, but businesses. And, we have to manage our currency better. Having this fiat currency, it's like, for me now, this is way out of the box, but I think we should back our currency by something. We could have a multiple asset backing for our currency.
What about cryptocurrencies, though?
Crypto? I mean, there's nothing wrong with cryptocurrencies. I don't think.
All of that is an illusion also.
Well, here's the thing. You're using cryptocurrencies. Now, I have some cryptocurrency. I have Bitcoin. I have Bitcoin when they were $2. I got Bitcoin. So when you use cryptocurrencies, you're giving them something for something, right? Mm-hmm. So I go and I buy something off Amazon. I use my Bitcoin. So they can take my Bitcoin and do something else with. So it has some value, right?
The value is dictated by the people who invest in it, because Bitcoin goes up and down. So it fluctuates. That's why it's so volatile, because it's dependent on who trusts the system.
That's
right.
True.
So right now we have a central bank where they say, okay, if you put $10,000 in the bank, your $10,000 is secure. If you have $100,000 in this bond, that bond, the other bond, that amount of money is secured. Right. Mm-hmm. So you believe in it. You trust in it.
Yeah.
What the hell are we trusting in now when they just shut down the whole economy?
That's what I'm saying. That's why you need it. That's why you need another type of currency. That's why I'm not against.
Who's going to control that? Who's going to hold it? Are you going to hold it in your house?
Well, you have a secure encrypted card for your currency.
But who's running it? Somebody has to run it. That's always going to be the problem. The thing is, here's we need visionaries, right? We need people like how Elon Musk could envision all this, crazy shit, the cars and everything. We need visionaries who can imagine a new economic system that is not screwing certain people to benefit other people, to screw other people. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a way. There has to be a way that through all of this, we see that the people who are impoverished, the low income, right? Mm-hmm. There has some factor where they can be stabilized and move up. So they're not dragging everybody else down.
Well, you got to start with tax policy.
No, but that's the thing. That's the other problem.
That's one of the things. Taxes is a big problem.
But taxes are not even legal. if you look at what taxes are and why they were put in place,
Yeah.
and then you have the Federal Reserve, which is not even a government body where people get elected. It's a totally separate body that governs how our Treasury or the Treasury Department works with them, how to print the money, right?
Yeah.
So they're all in cahoots with each other. They have developed that system. There were visionaries who created that system. We need another set of visionaries to create a new system where we can all play together, and by our own, will, our own amount we put into the system is how much we could gain out of it without having to disrupt the lives of other people.
Well, I think the part of the problem, Kat, is when you look at the current system, and I'm talking Federal Reserve, I'm talking tax, and I'm talking, economic policies in general, is that, okay, with taxes, we steal from each other, right?
That's what I'm saying.
We steal from each other. So me personally, because I have a background in accounting and taxes, I would rather have zero deductions so that everyone up and down can have a 10% tax rate. Like, we keep stealing from each other. Take the homeowner's interest deduction, right? So you're able to deduct a certain amount of interest on your loan, okay? Okay, somebody that's single over here that has an apartment that don't own a home is paying for my deduction. So why should they pay for my deduction? So the only deduction that I think is legitimate is for charitable contributions. Everything else can kind of go away. Then you
don't need a tax system at all, because a charitable contribution you could make without the government getting involved.
True. That's very true.
And don't be mistaken, there's a whole black market system where people work and trade and do all kinds of shit. None of it gets recorded. It's totally cash, a cash economy. Yeah. And life goes on and taxes are not collected, and it is what it is,
Yeah.
The drug trade, right? The billions and billions of dollars get funneled in and out of this country, in and out of the government. We all know where it is. If Ray Ray on the corner could tell you how much cash that such and such has, how much was collected and where it went, I'm sure the feds could figure the shit out too. So we all know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So we all live in the game, which is why I say people who look at the here who are fighting with how the money is going to be disseminated and to who, right? You're in a situation where you need money because you don't have your job anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Trump wanted to have a federal system for collecting the unemployment at this time, but each state wants to control the money. Every state wants to control the money. So that's how they're going to do it. All the websites are crashing because you can't handle that kind of influx because their systems are old. And now the people who are going to get just $1,200 a month, right? So $1,200 a month is $300 a week, right? Real talk, $300 a week ain't doing shit for nobody, but it makes you feel good about stuff, right? It makes you feel like you could float a little bit, right? Because people work, maybe you have some savings, and this helps you take the edge off of cutting down all your savings. They are pissed off, crazy talk on Facebook about people who've never had anything in their lives, people who've never been able to maintain a job, people who have been having to get welfare, food stamps, subsidies. They live in the worst tenement projects, crime-ridden, drug-ridden, mental issues, abuse issues. They don't want them to get $125 a week. This is the disconnect. This is the disconnect. You see how mentally ridiculous, like how mentally ill you have to be to get $300 a week, but you don't want somebody else who has never had anything in their life to get an additional $125 a week. Like, that's what you're fighting about? You're fighting over somebody else's $600, you're not making shit. And you're not making fucking sense, because a millionaire ain't fighting over $125. They can't even understand the language you're speaking right now. But people are very emotional about $125. That's not their $125. They're getting back the money they put in right now. But they're fighting over this person. And it's like they have lost all sense of like humanity and
where's the humanity? Yep.
It's crazy. The person has been used to eating shit all their life. Yeah. Let them continue eating shit. Why are you going to give them $125 extra a week? Like, really? Really? We going to all die from the flu, and you want to fight somebody over $125 a week. That's where we're at. Okay. I just sit back like God told me, be still, and observe all the crazies that you people are dishing out, because that's just what it is. Crazy.
How much do you attribute all of this to the media panic? Because
like 90%.
Again, they panic. I just think if they would have came out, see, this is what bothered me, and I posted this on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. This is before the panic actually started. This is when Chuck Schumer came out there on the Senate floor, and he started panic. He started the panic. Chuck Schumer, that's who started it. And then the media just kind of came behind him and kind of reinforced the panic. Now, people have been, because they started this panic, now people have been seriously impacted by this unemployment. And it should have been a time where, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Trump got together and say, look, let's pause on the politics for a few moments, and let's make sure this thing doesn't spread. People are literally dying, and, Democrats playing politics as usual. They've already, Nancy Pelosi got up there today and tried to blame the president for the spread of the virus, even though he started taking actions in January. And then you have this group, they're planning to spend $6 million in negative ads on Trump during the upcoming election. $6 million. They've already set aside $6 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
It's a mental illness. It really is. The fact that they can't see farther than their own noses and their own personal interests in any situation just shows you the character and the judgment that these people have. They don't care. They
shouldn't be running
care about you. They care about their establishment. They care about the longevity of the programs and the policies that they want to put in place to shape the economy and to shape the country in the way that most benefits them, right? So when you look at things like playing politics, right? They're all to blame. It's all fun and games until people start getting killed. And that's exactly what happened. So the media hates Trump so much that when he was ringing the alarm bell, like, yo, stuff is happening. We need to shut this down. We need to figure what's going on, whatever. Whatever reason he had to shut things down, even if it was to save these people's lives, at least to understand what was really happening in China, what was really going on. They were totally and completely against it, and anything that he does, he's crazy, he's stupid, he's not capable of meeting the challenges of this country, blah, blah, blah. Every situation is the same mantra that they keep saying. He's unhinged, his followers are trumpeters, and we just, love Orange Man. Like, that's just their perspective on it, to their own detriment. So let me give you a timeline and how this all spread. So number one, we don't know what this is. We need to shut travel. You're a racist. We're celebrating Chinese New Year. Hello, January, New York City. Then you have Mardi Gras come up in Louisiana. Then you have, what's the Irish one? You have the St. Patrick's Day. Still out celebrating. Oh, young kids can't catch it. They're not being infected. Spring breakers all up and down the coast. I don't care if I get coronavirus. I'm going to celebrate my spring break. Okay. So now they all went to these parties. 1.4 million people were in Louisiana for Mardi Gras. Millions, who the hell knows how many millions of people rode the train back and forth from Chinatown. And I'll tell you about Chinatown later. And then all these other locations almost in like protest that Trump told them not to, they were going to do it full force, even more. And now you have this spread, you have all this stuff popping up, all these people, and now there's a mad panic and it's all Trump's fault. Partially, I will say that it is Trump's fault, because he has them hating him so that even when he's trying to give them good advice, they just can't hear it. They can't hear it. They have closed their minds, their eyes, their ears, and everything to him. Even though he's right in the situation, they were never going to be able to receive it. And that's partially his rhetoric. It's just so much animosity between both points, which is why I said, people need to be still and really pay attention to what is happening. Stop looking at CNN. Stop sending me freaking links of facts. They don't have facts. Nobody has facts. The doctors will tell you this is something they've never seen before. So how could a reporter know what's happening? They don't know. The doctors don't know. That's why they're modeling all of these data. They're collecting. We are currently the test subjects of what is happening. So do you want to be on the wrong side of that test?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
People just...
They're saying, I'm looking in the news flash, they have isolated the deadly bat coronavirus near the Wuhan animal market. So this is a link. I got it from the Drudge Report. This is the Washington Times tonight. So there's just an update on this. So they've actually isolated the source of the coronavirus.
Which is what?
Wow.
Which is what?
Bat. It's bat.
But
It's from bats.
But remember, we talked about this in the beginning. Chinese people have been eating all kinds of animals, all kinds of parts of animals for years. For years. This is what they do. They take every single part of an animal and create some kind of food, fry it up, and it's unrecognizable. So how all of a sudden this became such a widespread, unknown, mutated, this, that, or the other? I'm not saying that it's not right. It could be, some kind of rabies type infection amongst the bat population or whatever. But I'm just saying, it's very convenient to say that it's bats, because it's weird and it's different. Yeah. It's disgusting. And people don't even know the habits of bats. Where would you find a bat? Why would you eat a bat? You know what I mean? So it's very easy to be like, they ate bats. Now we're all dying of the flu. They say it's a virus, right? And it's attacking the lungs. But they're treating it with antibiotics. They're treating it with drugs used for other things. They're really just treating the inflammation and the overreaction of the immune system to the virus, right? Because your body gets a high fever because it's trying to fight the infection. So they give you drugs to reduce the fever, right? But they're not curing the illness. They're taking away the symptoms so that your own immune system could kick in and fight it, which is why older groups or people who are compromised or have underlying conditions can't get that rebound because they're already fucked up on probably 12 other drugs. How many old people taking like 20 medications just to keep their organs pumping? They get something like this, it's over, game over. But it just doesn't sound right. I don't believe anything that's coming out of this. I don't believe the drugs they're trying to give you to cure it. It may work in some situations, but I just can't fathom. It just doesn't sound right. Like some things sound true and some things sound like bullshit. But whatever. As a matter of fact, not to get off subject, but there is on Twitter trending a hashtag film your hospital that is by conspiracy theorists who think that this is all like a wag the dog type of situation. And they're saying everywhere is crazy and you see them building all these hospitals, these makeshift hospitals in New York and whatever. But then they have people on Twitter taking pictures of different facilities saying like, nah, there's really not lines. There's not people like carloads down the street. There's not all that stuff happening. So what do you think about that?
I mean, with every crisis, there's always, people trying to give that outlier type perspective.
Yeah.
When you have like shootings, for example, they're saying that there's crisis actors and all this. It's you're always going to have that fringe part of the, of the storyline. And it's kind of unfortunate because it kind of takes away from where the focus should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just creates a separate narrative, and it gets, for the person that's not really paying attention and they're just unassuming, people that are kind of skimming the surface of the news, it kind of causes a lot of confusion for those folks. So
yeah. Well, I personally know, and I'm sure, I don't know if you do since you're so close there, but I personally know people who are directly affected if they're not infected with this virus, who've been tested.
Yeah, I know a couple too.
And all that stuff. So it's not a hoax. And I think like people, like the media ran with the fact that, oh, it's a hoax. No, nobody is saying that this actual virus is not real. What we're saying is the all of the fear and all of the panic that is being created around this virus is not real. For example, week 1, right? Everybody was afraid that if they got this virus, they're going to die. So everybody ran out of their house in hysterical form, pulling toilet paper off the shelves like it was going out of business, buying up meat, which I don't understand the meat thing, buying up ramen noodles, which again, totally do not understand why I couldn't pick up a package of ramen noodles for my daughter. It's like her favorite thing. I was like, what the hell are people doing with ramen noodles? And then you got the week after, everybody gets laid off because the economy shuts down. So now you're going to spend all your money on toilet paper that you didn't need because the week after and the week after that, they have supplies coming in. Like the supply chain didn't get bombed. And now you have no money because we have this economy down. You have politicians being politicians holding up legislation, which took an additional 3 days, which really means an additional 2 weeks before they could get anything printed and mailed out or anything through your direct deposit transferred into your account. Because I'm sure they got a bunch of debt accounts that they have to figure out how's that going to work also. And then people who move from state to state to state. So you got this big cluster. And then people with high anxiety, high stress, already suffering from PTSD, already on anxiety pills, already on all this other stuff because of their regular life, all the stresses of their regular life. And now you tell them their kids got to stay home and you got to teach them for the rest of the year. It's like, what? You push people over the edge in 3 weeks. You have people talking about, I can't do this. I can't do that.
Homeschooling is killing a lot of people.
Dude, I told you, but I kept trying to tell people, please trust and believe. This is not going to be back to normal. What you thought was normal before, you're not going to be able to return to that. They've already had leading experts in different industries. For example, John Taffer, right, from the Restaurant Bar Rescue show, an expert, 25 plus years in the restaurant industry, building restaurants and clubs and all these lounges all over the world, telling you they are going to have to refigure restaurants and places to eat. Think about shopping malls, how you go shop and interact with people. If you have to do social distancing for any period of time so that this doesn't like flare up again. How are you going to sit in groups and not be like next to each other in stadiums? Like how sports arena is going to accommodate people? Like what are you going to do with the concession stands, the food, the gift shops? Like people are not thinking like all parts of your life are going to be different. And schools, how kids are sitting next to each other, how kids are interacting with each other, recess time, like people have to really consider your life is not going to be the same. So you have to be okay with that. And there's people who get really pissed off when I say that. What are you talking about? Like, nah, dude, it's really not going to be the same. It's really not going to be the same. You sneeze or you clear your throat somewhere and see how many people turn their head, give you dirty looks and want to punch you in the face real quick right about now. That's just where we're at. Things might go back to regular socializing in the future, but the future is not in the next 6 months. I guarantee you the future is not in the next 6 months. So how do you prepare yourself mentally to cope with a new way of life? Some people are like huggers. Some people need like physical touch. Not some people, everybody does, but like some people really need that kind of closeness with others. We the hermits, I'm good in my bunker. Like, I need you to touch me. I need you to talk to me. I'm okay. I entertain myself on a regular basis. But how are people going to cope when they really can't interact the way they were used to? Even just in a friendly way, you know? They got to be prepared for it because it's not going to be the same. I hate to tell you. I don't really hate to tell you, but prepárate, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to be different. It has to be.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack there.
Are you scared? Are you scared?
Not really. It's just look at the changes that we've gone to the last
already
20 or so years. Look at what happened in 9/11, right? So look at how you go to the airport. That's different.
Yeah, exactly. How upset were people just to take their shoes off, take your laptop out of the bag, you know?
I remember before that I went to the airport. I was in college, and my girlfriend at the time, she was from Wisconsin, right? And she went home. She was a basketball player. She went home for a week, and then she came back after spring break, and I picked her up at the airport. It was like the last time I picked someone up at the airport, right? And then after 9/11, because you could go all the way to the gate, to the plane.
To whoever in the airport, You
could escort them all the way to when they get on the plane. Like it just, and it's not even like that anymore. You can't, not unless you're a passenger. So
imagine those lines. You got lines and lines and lines and like it already felt like it took forever and it was totally unnecessary. Now is going to be like to the nth degree because they want to protect the public. Mm-hmm. They want you to practice this social distancing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, people in each state, each county, everywhere is going to be a little bit different. Obviously, we don't have, like, I'm in Northwest Georgia, I think, and it's the country. So we're not going to have the same kind of situation that New York does, obviously. Mm-hmm. There's not that many people, you know, we don't need to be so cray-cray. But even still, people are very conscious of it. And if you don't fall into line with what they believe you should be doing, they get tight about it. So mm-hmm. It's like, okay, let's accommodate your feelings and fears right now. I'm like, I just need to stay home. Because if I go outside, people are going to be upset. And that is going to just happen. And people think like, oh, no, I'm just going to go back to work. No, sweetie. Your job has changed. If you get your job back, there's probably going to be some portion of companies that will have 3 shifts where you're working night, midday, like swing shifts. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Part-time at work, part-time at home, so that they have like the most amount of people working, but the least amount of interaction between people, you know? Mm-hmm. Everything is going to change. Everything is going to change over the course of the next 6 months. Maybe then, you know, you become more relaxed. But just like you mentioned, the airports, they just started letting people keep their shoes on, and then this shit happens. Like, no, you don't got to take your shoes off. I'm like, I don't. No, you don't got to take your sweater off. I'm like, I don't. Okay. That's funny. Insanity. So what do you think is going to be the next stage of the crazy waves? Because these are coming in waves. It's like weekly crazy waves.
Man, I think next week I expect it to get more political.
More political?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
If these damn reporters and the Rose Garden
act like an asshole.
I cannot stand them and their stupid ass questions. And then they get upset when he gets upset that they're asking him questions he already knows why, you know, like the tone they're using. It's like, come on already. We don't got time for that. Like, the man is already spending an hour and a half talking to your assholes. The least you could do is just ask your stupid questions straight so you could get the actual information to people instead of getting your opinion. Just write your opinion then. If that's what you're going to do, just write your opinion. But they want the soundbite. So it is what it is. I think if this week is the blame game of who did it, who done it, you did it, how you did it, the Chinese did it, this is a conspiracy theory, this is exactly what socialists wanted, you know, all that. I think week 5 is I'm going to dub it a brace for impact week. Because I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but the peak, right, with the most fatalities, given the timeline that they're working with, is supposed to hit around April 15th, did they say? Which means next week people are going to get their checks, their government issued checks, which means they're going to go to the stores and shop like they never shopped before in their life because they don't want to go back outside again. And they are going to bunker in place, and they're going to wait for the body bags and the body counts to tick up and tick up and tick up and see who they know. And you'll start seeing a whole bunch of rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace, whatever. Whether they die from corona or not, you know, it's just the week of it. So I'm going to call next the brace for impact week, where expecting the worst to happen the next week.
Wow.
We'll see how it comes to pass. But can I give you my conspiracy theory predictions?
Go ahead.
since we're towards the end, I didn't want to mention it in the beginning. But okay, so this is how I see it playing out from here going forward. I think that there is going to be a blooming effect of the virus, right? I think we are going to reach a peak. But I don't know for what circumstances is going to happen. I think that it's just going to go away. That's my theory.
Really?
I think it's going to go away. I don't know why it's going to go away. I don't know that there's going to be a miracle cure. Highly doubt it. That's not what I'm seeing right now. But I see that it's like, it's hitting the people it's going to hit. It's cleaning the slates of a lot of folks, unfortunately, you know. And then that's it. It's going to just peter out. And they'll say, you know, we flattened the curve. The prophylactic drugs are working. Whatever the reason. All of this, all that we did actually worked. And you're going to have like a parade, you know, of televised, not one that you could go to, a televised parade. And then you're going to hear Trump saying how wonderful all his efforts were. His administration was. And Pence is going to get like the Medal of Honor, and the doctors are going to get like $50 billion towards their, you know, research. And then I think you'll start seeing the stocks shoot back up and everything. But lifestyle wise, I see is completely transformed. But with regard to this virus, let's just say it gets stamped out for whatever reason. And then Trump gets to tout his accolades. And I would hope by November, all these freaking Looney Tunes get voted out of office, because it's like, I don't want to hear about them anymore. I don't want to hear from them or about them.
Yeah, I agree.
Biden is going to have, I'm sorry. Wayne Harmon is chiming in, and he is saying Biden will select Governor Cuomo as a VP candidate. First of all, let me tell you something about Governor Cuomo, because everybody thinks he's like a shining star. That's the mofo that didn't replenish the shit that they used from before. And the reason you got shortages is because he didn't do his job. When he was doing Green New Deal type activities in New York and trying to get the lower circuit courts to file Trump charges against Trump, he wasn't replenishing supplies. That's why he's in the situation, and New Yorkers are in the situation that they're in right now. So he's part of the group of losers and abusers of New York City's funds and shit like that. So Biden, first of all, I don't think Biden is going to make it to the election. That's just, like I said, that's just what I see. I don't see Biden making it to the election. I don't know if he's going to get coronavirus. I don't know if he's going to have a heart attack, stroke. I don't know if the dementia is going to set in full force. I don't see him continuing in the race. I don't really see a candidate that comes up against Trump in any real form. And especially not after this goal gets resolved. Like, I just don't see a way forward for anybody else to continue on after what's happening right now. If we truly recover any kind of economy and have any kind of growth, Trump is really the only guy to make that happen.
Well, and that, not only that, even before all of this, Trump was definitely sucking the oxygen out of the room, even before all of this. So,
but that's what the hate came from. Because of that fact, people wouldn't listen and heed his warnings to their own detriment. You know, it's unfortunate. But, you know, some people, you just can't teach them anything. If people get angry when you give them the truth. People don't like it. They like things tied in a bow and sweetly delivered. And sometimes shit just don't come out that way. So, namaste, mofos. Namaste. You got to find inner peace at this time. If you're gonna make it, you got to find that inner peace. Know that you can. Know that you are capable. Don't succumb to the pressures. Don't succumb to the media. Don't succumb to the little voices in your head that telling you can't pay your rent and somebody's going to kick you out of your house. We all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. 3.5 million people just claiming benefits, and I'm sure a million more are gonna go on unemployment. So it's not just you broke. Everybody's in the same broken boat.
Yeah.
You know, so don't jump overboard before we get to the shore. It won't be perfect. Trust me. You be like, damn, I could have waited another 2 months and then would have been hit with an economic boom, you know? So just sit tight, be still, and know that things are going to get better. They're going to be different, but it's going to get back to a new normal and probably a better situation you can live in. And I'm telling you, this is an opportunity for the visionaries to create what you want to be, create who you want to be.
Step up.
That's it. Even if you're doing it personally in your own house, you stuck at home, redecorate your shit. You can move this lamp there. You know how many times I redid this room? I had my husband take these walls down. And I'm like, you know what? I don't like it there. And he's like, you're going to make me do this again? I was like, I don't like it there. I just don't feel like this is the space I want to be in. Until I finally got it right. He must have did it like 3 or 4 times. Pulling walls down, putting walls up, taking all this soundproof booth stuff down, putting it back up. And finally, I got it the way I want. And I feel good. And I feel productive. Do some shit like that. You got time now. Take advantage of all the free stuff. Peloton has a free app now for the month. There's all the learning things you could think of. They all have stuff for free. You know, there's so many things you could do from home. YouTube is my favorite university. You can learn anything on YouTube.
This is The Cure.